So have you have you doubted yourself time and again, so many times, about whether you will be able to do this or not, whatever dreams you have set? And have you heard ever about this Zeri and Esther Hicks messages, which always say that be on your vortex and so many times about whether you will be able to do it in your vortex so that you will be uh, manifesting things faster. But the moment we decide something, dream something, the next moment our mind says something that we are not worthy. Our self-doubt kills that dream because the moment if we have imagined something for better, then we have also killed it with our negativity, right? So it gets cancelled. Let us read about how this happens, right? So Lewis Howes, The Law of Greatness, chapter 7 says, when I was growing up, my father never acknowledged my birthday. No parties, no gifts, no cake. One day I asked him, Dad, how come you don't celebrate my birthday? Do you not love me? I love you very much, he replied. I celebrate you every day. But in my work and life experience, I see so many people limited by their age because they have a limiting mindset about time. Sure, I would have loved to have had some presents and cake now and then, but his message was a powerful, shaping influence in my life from an early age. I never want you to feel like you are too old to start something, he told me. I never want you to feel like you are too young or too inexperienced to chase your dreams. I never want you to feel like you are not capable of developing the resources, the intelligence, the wisdom, the skills, the experience to attract abundance in your life. In short, Dad was telling me, Lewis, I never want you to feel like you are not enough. Do you know what kills more dreams than anything else on the entire planet? Self doubt. So many people fail before they begin simply because they do not believe they can succeed. All the fears of failure, success, and judgment contribute to this one potent poison. I saw this dream killer at work as far back as in the eighth grade. I looked up to a senior basketball player who was the most talented athlete I had ever seen at that time. It was freakish how explosive he was. He was totally jacked with a 40 plus inch vertical leap and could do a 360-degree dunks. You name it, the guy had incredible athletic ability. Here I was, a skinny little 13-year-old who could barely jump and touch the basketball ring. I had every reason to doubt my own ability and every reason to think he would go on to be a professional athlete. But despite his talent, he did not believe in himself. Time and again, buckled under pressure. Watching him fall short of his potential taught me that incredible talent doesn't matter if you don't know how to believe in yourself. More importantly, if you have the mentality of a winner and are willing to work hard to overcome adversity, you don't have to be the most talented athlete to win. When I shared this story with pro athlete trainer Tim Grover, he agreed. In fact, he said he would rather work with less talented athletes if those athletes worked hard to bring their A game. Those athletes were always his best. They were winners. They became great. Not enough? Maybe at this point in the journey to greatness, you have some sense of what your meaningful mission might be. You have identified fears that hold you back. You want to step up and step into greatness, but you are feeling too young or too old. Maybe you feel you have too many responsibilities now in this season of life, or think it is too late for you to pursue your mission. Maybe you just don't feel qualified yet. The bottom line is that when you doubt your capability, you intimidate yourself, making it impossible to take action. You are enough. Unfortunately, positivity doesn't come naturally for most of us, including how we view ourselves. And often a person's environment can contribute to a self-deprecating mindset. Joel Osteen is one of the most abundantly positive people I have ever met. He attributes his positivity and confidence to his parents, who surrounded him with encouragement and optimism. They frequently affirmed his abilities and worth. After ministering for many years, Joel discovered many people have a natural recording in their minds telling them they aren't good enough. Their own negativity picks away at their self-confidence, holding them back from greatness. With that in mind, Joel shared with me a piece of wisdom he received from his dad. You will never rise any higher than the way you see yourself. The only way to silence the negative recording, says Joel, is to pay attention to your thoughts about yourself and align them with the vision you want for your future. Want to get out of debt? Drop 20 pounds? Grow a thriving business? Whatever success looks like for you, you have to be able to envision yourself achieving that dream, or you will never make the moves to achieve it. Now, you may be thinking you don't doubt your ability. Therefore, you don't struggle with self-doubt. However, there is a second form of self-doubt, and that is doubt about your self-worth. Far too many people secretly struggle with thinking they do not deserve greatness or even goodness for that matter. That is why I was so grateful when my friend Dan Millman introduced me to the yes, thank you practice. It is simple but effective. When opportunities for success come your way, choose to believe you deserve them and simply say yes, thank you to the world. By practicing this response, you acknowledge your own worth and deservedness as a human being. You aren't more deserving than anyone else, but you aren't any less deserving either. Too often we self-sabotage because we don't believe we deserve success. I am not enough. This has been my thing. कितनी बार मैंने खुद को बोला है कि मुझे नहीं आता, ये नहीं आता, वो नहीं आता. इवन अभी जो कोचिंग में शुरू कर रही हूँ, जो मैंने 2.5 साल से शुरू किया है, मुझे हमेशा ही डाउट हुआ रहता है कि मुझे आता क्या है. बट अगर आपको कोई चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन आया पड़ा हो तो मेरे पास आइए, क्योंकि मेरे पास उसका सोल्यूशन निकल जाएगा. यू नो इट्स सो आप मुझे क्या बोलोगे? एम आई एनफ और नॉट एनफ? आई एम एनफ. बट अगर मुझे आप बोलोगे कि मैं खुद को बोल दूं तो फिर मुझे सेल्फ डाउट आ जाएगा. तो क्या आपको ऐसा होता है? अगर आपको होता है तो आप और मैं सेम बोट पे हैं, राइट? तो आप मेरे पास आइए, क्योंकि मुझे आपकी खूबियां दिख जाएंगी. मुझे भले ही अपनी खूबी ना दिखे, बट मुझे आपकी खूबी जरूर दिखेगी. और जितनी खूबी किसी और ने बोला हो उसका 550 टाइम्स मैं ज्यादा आपको बोल के दिखाऊंगी. एंड यू विल ऑल्सो नो कि मैंने सही बोला है. एक्चुअली आई एम राइट. तो आप मेरे पास आना. अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है तो सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस अगर बढ़ाना हो तो मेरे पास जरूर है. You aren't more deserving than anyone else, but you aren't any less deserving either. Too often we self-sabotage because we don't believe we deserve success. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy, because we don't think we are worthy. We conclude that any initial success must be temporary. As a result, we subconsciously make things hard on ourselves simply because we don't believe we deserve the rewards. Your fear of failure becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, all because you don't believe yourself worthy. Your fear of success limits your possibilities, all because you don't believe you are worthy. Your fear of the judgment from others causes you to compromise, all because you don't believe you are worthy. Practice showing yourself kindness. Or as Dan says, ask yourself daily, how good can I stand it today? Every day. Work up your tolerance to goodness until you can say, I'm worthy of greatness. A work in progress. Kindness to ourselves is one of the biggest keys to conquering the dream killer of self-doubt. While we might show tremendous gratitude towards others, most of us struggle to show gratitude towards ourselves. For example, I can show myself gratitude for being consistent with what I said I was going to do. Maybe I showed up on time to events, followed through on my 30-day challenge, drank my target amount of water each day, or even got the sleep I needed to deliver my best. In all of those instances, no matter how small, I can be thankful to myself that I was enough. I am not talking about stroking our egos like an egomaniac narcissist, but simply acknowledging our successes and being grateful for our own contribution to them. I saw an example of this when I saw a video of Snoop Dogg after he was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He rattled off a long list of all the things he was grateful for and thanked a lot of people. Lastly, he said, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more rights than wrongs. I want to thank me for just being me at all times. अगर आप ये सुन रहे हो, मुझे देख रहे हो, तो एक काम करना, आप खुद को थैंक यू बोलना। इस बात पे आप थैंक यू बोल सकते हो, लिस्ट डाउन कर लो, क्योंकि बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है खुद को थैंक यू बोलना। आप किसी और को थैंक यू, अगर मैं बोलूं आपको कि आप किसी और को थैंक यू बोल दो, मे बी यू कैन डू इजीली। किसी और को बोलना हो तो इट विल बी वेरी इजी फॉर यू। 10 चीज के लिए आप किसी और को थैंक यू बोल सकते हो, बट इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू से थैंक यू टू योरसेल्फ। तो आप जो भी हो, मोहन, सोहन, रमेश, प्रकाश, कोई भी हो, आप खुद को 10 चीज के लिए आज थैंक यू जरूर बोलना। इट्स ट्रू, वी डोंट थैंक आवरसेल्व्स इनफ। We are not grateful to ourselves when we show up and do the work. When we do something challenging, when we have that hard conversation, when we call to reconcile someone with whom we had a falling out, when we do the emotional healing work required to move past the trauma in our lives, when we face the fears and insecurities and push past them. I have found a powerful practice to affirm that we are, in fact, enough. Show appreciation to yourself twice a day, once in the morning and then again at night. By doing this every day, you release a waterfall of abundance that will flow over you and draw other positive opportunities toward you. Going back to Dan Millman, he believes the way to build confidence in your worth is to appreciate your individual story and growth journey. Dan's book, Everyday Enlightenment, describes 12 gateways to personal growth. इसके बारे में मैं आपको बताती हूँ, मैं डेली विन्स के बारे में बात करती हूँ। कुछ भी हुआ हो आपके साथ, दैट इज ए विन। क्यों? क्योंकि अगर सक्सेस हुआ है तो ऑलरेडी वो सक्सेस है, विन है। अगर आपके साथ कुछ बुरा हुआ है सपोज, तो उससे जो आपने सीखा है वो कोई और सिखा नहीं सकता था, और उसके होने से जो स्टेप आपने लिया है आपके माइंड में, आपने खुद को कुछ एक दूसरे मंजिल पे रखा है, दैट वो भी कोई और नहीं कर सकता, राइट? सो डेली विंस तो होता ही है, होता तो है, उसके साथ साथ क्या होता है कि आपका डेली एनलाइटमेंट भी होता है, जो डैन मिलमैन ने लिखा है। सो 12 gateways to personal growth, इनका किताब है। The first of these gateways is realizing your innate worth as a human being. Dan has a beautiful perspective on human value. He believes each person has a story that is completely unique and continually unfolding. As such, we need to appreciate our stories, particularly the painful parts, because those obstacles give us our strength. We each have a unique past and a unique way forward. Your way forward might not look like the next person. That is why Dan warns that comparing ourselves to others is a profound disrespect for our own process. The reality is that your process might not be at the same pace as someone else's. As a gymnastics coach, Dan saw children learn to do somersaults at different paces. Ironically, those who took longer often learned the technique better than those who learned quickly. He sums it up as there is no one right path, only the right path for you at this moment. When you discover the value of your journey, past and future, you no longer need to measure yourself against others and can recognize your worth. किसी और के साथ कंपेयर करके कुछ होना है नहीं. क्यों? क्योंकि आप डिफरेंट हो, आप यूनिक हो और आप जो सीख रहे हो वो कोई सीख नहीं रहा. राइट? Joel Osteen, who believes the way to overcome self-doubt is to focus on you, to locate and celebrate your individuality. In a conversation I had with him about imposter syndrome, he shared how he managed to overcome his self-doubt when he took over Lakewood Church after his father's passing. At that time, his father had led the church for 40 years and grown quite a devoted following. Coming into such a well-established church, Joel felt obligated to pose like his father, to try to change himself to fill the empty space his father had left. Every person that came had come from my dad, he thought. They didn't come to hear me. Despite their close relationship, Joel was not his father. His preaching style was laid back, nothing like his father's loud and passionate sermons. Nevertheless, for the first 3 or 4 months, Joel did his best to preach his father's message from the notes his dad had left behind. Although Joel thought he was doing what was best for the church, he was actually impersonating his father. Then, in month 5, he stumbled across a passage of scripture that said, David fulfilled his purpose for his generation, Act 13.36. In that verse, Joel heard these words, Joel, your dad fulfilled his purpose for his generation. Now go fulfill your purpose for this generation. Joel, recognizing his God-given gift, was different from his father's, but no less powerful. When he finally gave himself permission to be himself, the church began to grow exponentially. People responded positively to his style of ministering. While sharing this story with me, Joel offered these powerful words of wisdom. You are empowered to be you, and nobody can beat you at being you. आप जैसे हो, उस तरह से कोई और हो नहीं सकता, right? This is how he combat imposter syndrome. If you aren't trying to be anybody but yourself, it is impossible to be an imposter. On the other hand, when we strive to be like someone else, we might even do a pretty good job of it. But according to Joel, as long as we are trying to imitate someone else, we are lessening our power. As he puts it, if you don't realize you are a masterpiece, that you have something to offer that nobody else has, you limit yourself. By the way, yet another byproduct of being yourself is that it frees you to truly celebrate others. It doesn't minimize your talents to see someone else succeed because although that person might be better than you at one thing, you are great at this other thing in this other way. If you have been going through life with low self-esteem and low self-worth, the idea of celebrating yourself might seem cocky. Expecting greatness might even seem entitled. Humility and sacrifice are often seen as virtues, and they certainly can be. But to reach your potential and help others at your full capacity, you have to first appreciate your worth and invest in yourself. You have got to feel yourself up first. You have got to take care of your health, your mindset, your energies. Remember, the greatness mindset is a growth mindset, and A fixed mindset and part of the growth mindset means prioritizing your own journey, which is still in progress. Which coach will you be? What are the practical actions you can take to go from being a self-sabotager to self-maker? Let me begin. Not surprisingly, with a sports analogy. As a football player, I have had nasty coaches who criticized and embarrassed me. I could be giving it my all, but they would still hound me and degrade. I also had coaches who showed me tough love, but in positive, loving way. They might call me out and make an example of me, but at the end of the day, they showed me they cared and wanted to see me grow. There is a powerful difference between these two types of coaching. In the same way, we can be either the greatest coach to ourselves or we can be the worst critic of ourselves. The inner love based coach will tell you, I am enough. I love myself the way I am. And at the same time, I am working to improve. The inner fear based critic will tell you, I am not enough. The inner critic's voice calls for improvement too, but from a negative place. Whereas the inner love based coach always comes from a caring space. To heal your self doubt, you have to shift your mindset to the love based coach and stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, compare yourself to the version of you from the past. When you compare your present self to who you were the previous month or the previous year, you will see all you have accomplished. Then you can acknowledge those improvements and set new goals. The key is not to improve because you aren't enough. You improve because you live in a growth mindset. The second practical way you can improve your confidence is by surrounding yourself with a supportive learning community. I asked inspirational speaker and author Simon Sinek how people instill belief in themselves if they have self-doubt. He told me a story about a friend who was going through a rough time in her life and doubting herself. After trying to reaffirm her through encouragement to no avail, he switched tactics. He asked her to help him learn a skill he was weak in and that he knew she was talented in. When she was the one giving advice instead of receiving it, her confidence suddenly rocketed. So, if you are afraid you aren't enough in one area, find ways of serving your community with the skills you are confident in. Then give the same opportunity to the other members of your community and let them teach you the skills you would like to strengthen. This way, you will address the areas you lack confidence in and also grow appreciation for the expertise you do have. Finally, sometimes the solution to self doubt is simply to do the work. Seth Godin, author and former .com business executive, distills it to the essence of what must be done sometimes to push past self doubt. He told me that we simply have to remove the debate. I have written 7,500 blog posts in a row. Tomorrow morning, which will be a Friday, there will be another post. But it won't be there because it is the best post ever, nor will it be there because I decided to post it tomorrow. It will be there because it's Friday. And I haven't reconsidered that decision in 20 years. मतलब अगर फ्राइडे है तो एक ब्लॉग पोस्ट जाना ही है मेरे लिए 7 अगर बज गया 7:30 अगर बज गया तो एक कोई वीडियो अपलोड होना ही है एक पॉडकास्ट अपलोड होना ही है देयर इज नो एक्सेप्शन सो आई डोंट हैव टू have a meeting with myself about whether or not it's time to write a blog post. There will be a blog post. You chop the wood and carry the water by getting rid of the debate. Think about how many things you do that were once thought impossible. Driving across town used to be death defying, but we got used to it. We build a pattern into it. What I have tried to do is make it to that writing a blog post for 1 million people doesn't make me nervous because I do it every day. I have trained myself so that it's not that risky. Maybe you can adopt same approach to an area of life where you wrestle with self-doubt and have allowed it to be your dream killer. Make the decision to show up and do the work. Give yourself a system that empowers you to push past the fears and be your own most powerful coach by putting in the reps. To be great, you can't let your insecurities and fears hold you back. Even though we all have real flaws, flaws are not a reason not to try. They are just something you have to overcome. Step one of overcoming them is to accept yourself as a work in progress. Remember, you are enough and you are coming more. In fact, you are becoming great. Engaging greatness. The next step is to engage with the activities in the fear conversion toolkit. Before you do, ask yourself some simple questions. To what extent do you struggle with the dream killer or self-doubt? To what extent do you struggle to believe you deserve great goodness? How has this self-doubt held you back from wholeheartedly pursuing your meaningful mission? Are you ready to do something about it? So this was chapter 7 and we'll be doing some exercise tomorrow. कल हम कुछ एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, लेकिन आज अगर आपको सेल्फ डाउट है तो आप एक काम जरूर कर सकते हैं. कुछ एक काम पकड़ लीजिए और रोज करें जो आपको अच्छा लगता है. किसी को अच्छा लगे नहीं लगे, वो क्वालिटी वर्क है कि नहीं है, और उसको कोई पढ़ता है नहीं पढ़ता है. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, मेरा यूट्यूब वीडियो कोई देखता है नहीं देखता है, कोई उसको पढ़ता है नहीं पढ़ता है, कोई उसको गो थ्रू करता है नहीं करता है. इनफैक्ट मैं अभी आज दिन में सोच रही थी कि अगर मान लीजिए मुझे हर महीने हर दिन अगर 10 घंटे बढ़ाना है अपने यूट्यूब चैनल में, देन कोई तो किसी को मैं जबरदस्ती नहीं कर सकती, राइट, कि वो मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल देखे, मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करे. लेकिन वो एक्सटर्नल लोग भी हो सकते हैं ना जो मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में आ सकते हैं. सो किसको कैसे मैं करूं? तो मैं क्या सोच रही थी कि मैं रोज कुछ ना कुछ लिखूंगी, कुछ ना कुछ करूंगी, और उसको क्या करूंगी कि मैं अपने फेसबुक में ऐड कर दूंगी. ऐड करके 30 सेकेंड्स का तो कोई भी देखेगा, कोई अगर देखेगा देन 1 मिनट में 2 लोग देखेंगे, तो 60 मिनट में 120 लोग देखेंगे, और 10 घंटे में 1200 लोग देखेंगे. दैट मीन्स 1200 लोग रोज मेरे कोई ना कोई वीडियो को देखना चाहिए. मुझे क्या करना चाहिए उसके लिए? क्योंकि मेरे शॉर्ट्स और रील्स काफी पॉपुलर होते हैं, तो मैं रोज 2 वीडियोस तो 2 शॉर्ट्स बना सकती हूँ, बना के मैं अपलोड कर सकती हूँ. और अगर एक को 1200 लोग नहीं देखते हैं तो दोनों को मिला के अगर 1800 लोग देख लिए तो देन दैट इज एनफ, क्योंकि मुझे दिन में रोज 10 घंटे लोग देखना चाहिए, ऐसा चाहिए. सो हाउ इज द आइडिया? तो इसी से मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ता है. अभी तो एक प्लान भी है. प्लान कैसे आया? बिकॉज आई हैड ए गोल. गोल अगर आया और ये अचीव अगर हो गया तो मेरे सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस कितना बढ़ जाएगा. तो ऐसा एक प्लान क्या आपके पास है? कुछ भी. सो इफ नहीं है तो आप मेरे पास आ जाइए. we'll figure out something which will increase your self confidence. Thank you for watching.